Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Nature's Always Right. Today I'm sitting here with my favorite small farming tool, the Farmer's Friend Greens Harvester. And this is what I use to harvest all of my salad mix like you're seeing right here super efficiently. I'm harvesting about 40 to 50 pounds a week. And if I did that all by hand, it would take me a lot longer than it does with this thing. So today I'm going to be showing you how to maintain this every week. After you've done your harvest, how do you clean it, oil it, and sharpen it? And just look at some of the different things I've noticed that break down over time, like screws loosening up and things. So give you my best tips and my best sharpening tips as well. A lot of people will recommend or use this electronic sharpening machine, which is really nice, but I think I can actually sharpen faster by hand using a simple $10 sharpener. So I'm going to show you my special technique that I use. I've been using this same blade on my machine here for the last year and a half, I think. So I know that this technique is really effective for me, and I hope that it'll really help you speed up your process for maintaining this machine every single week. So the first thing that I'll do when I'm cleaning the greens harvester, I'll just spray it off with some water. So on mine, I actually lost the little thing that goes in between the blade to help secure it in there. So just so you know, you can replace it with a bolt and a nut. But I lost that thing multiple times and I found it again, then I'd lose it again. So then I'm just going to take a high-powered nozzle. This is the big blue from paperpot.co, and I'm going to spray it off, wipe it down with a rag. And then one of the key areas I like to shoot out with the high pressure is this slit right here where the blade goes into, because I don't want any dirt or debris in here that's going to mess up the blade as it's sliding back and forth. And then I try to shoot out underneath this area of the blade in here where the bearings are, so that there's no dirt or anything that's collecting in there. Then I just take my rag and I rub off whatever remaining junk is on there and on the blade. Just always want to be very careful around this blade. Also come in here with my hydrogen peroxide to sanitize and completely sterilize this thing as well when I'm wiping it down. It's another great step to throw in here. Okay, so that's done. Now I'm going to put this in the sun to let all the metal dry and these tassels dry, and then we'll come back and sharpen this thing, oil it, and then put it to bed so it's ready for the next time we're going to use it. So now that we've got our greens harvester dry and set up, we're just, as part of the maintenance, we just want to take a look at everything, take a look at the pulleys, the bolts here, make sure everything's tight. Take a look at your pulley belts here. Over time, these will get stretched out. I've been using this one for like 2 years now, and it's worked very well. But I have had a friend, actually my buddy Jared, he used this in the rain one time because he needed to harvest, and unfortunately found out the hard way that when you get all the tassels wet and run the drill, all that weight, it stretched this belt out and wrecked it. And then he was screwed and he couldn't use this to harvest for a week until he got the new part. So that's why I recommend they have an extra parts kit from Farmer's Friend. I think it's about 80 bucks, but they give you all the parts that are possibly likely to break or wear out over time. So they give you a bunch of these extra belts, more pulleys, more blades, things like that. I will say though that I've had zero problems with this. I've harvested about 40 to 50 pounds of greens every week for the past couple years. And I've been using this blade almost the entire time. So I'm going to show you how I sharpen it. So everything looks good, there's no debris in the way, everything looks great. Now we need to sharpen it. So this is what I use to sharpen and lubricate. This is actually the lubricant that they give you when you buy the greens harvester. And then this is a very cheap and simple sharpener, cone-shaped sharpener I got on Amazon. I'll put a link down in the description. There's a bunch of different fine or coarsenesses that you can get. I forgot which one this is, but I'll put a link down in the description to the one that you want. I'm going to show you this from a few different angles. If you don't have a lot of experience sharpening something, this may be difficult at first, but this is a really good skill to learn, because with the same skill I can sharpen a knife like this, I can sharpen my shears, With this one sharpener, you can do a lot of different things. And I figured out a trick for this blade. I used to go really slow and try to do each serration one by one, but then I realized that you can just slide down it just as if I was doing a straight edge knife. I just hold the sharpener at the right angle and glide through. Well, that same technique, you can do it on this serrated blade I've found, and that's really sped up the time that I sharpen my blade. It only takes me a minute or two and I'm done. So to give you a mini sharpening lesson, so as you look down the blade here, what I want to do is just try to match my sharpener to the same angle that they created the edge at. So something about right there. You don't want to go too deep or too shallow. In one big stroke, I'm going. I'll spend about 5 seconds on each area. And then to test it, I just flick my thumb up. So obviously you don't want to go this way on the blade, it would cut you, but if you flick like this, then you can feel how sharp it is. The more resistance you get, the more sharp it is usually. This is pretty sharp. So I'm going to flip this over and do the other side now. And just hold the blade with my left hand to steady it. But the angle that you hold your wrist at, that is the most important thing to keep in mind. This area right here, I'm not feeling as much resistance, so I'm going to go hit it again. And that's better. Great. So this thing's basically done. When I flip it back over, I'm going to hit the other side one last little time to get it razor sharp. And I'm just going to put a small bead of lubricant. I'll show you on the other side how much I'm adding. I just like to give it one last little sharpening from the top there. Then slide the blade in. We're going to reattach our little screw here since I lost the piece that Farmer's Friend gives you. Make it tight, and then I just like to spin the shaft to rub the lubricant in there and get it all set up so that we can just let it sit. So now this thing's done, I'm just going to go sit it down and store it somewhere, and it's ready to use for next week.